move from the stunning backdrop of downtown Chicago and round 5 of the Pro Enduro Tour to Florida and the gorgeous beaches of Fort Lauderdale for the 6th and final round of the series. Back in the Windy City, championship leader Chris MacClugage didn't get things all his own way.
Boy, that's right. Not a lot of riders did get stuff their own way as the conditions were intensely rough out there. Guys were up and down, out of the water, trying to keep those pumps hooked up, but nothing doing. And when the jet spray cleared, it was 911 Eric Francis that would take the win in Chicago. He would stand on top of the podium with Bryan Baldwin coming through third and taking a look at the points coming into this weekend in Fort Lauderdale. MacClugage out in front, Francis in second, Baldwin in third, Ian-Tosca, Klippenstein, and Saxon round out your top 6.
MacClugage with a good lead. And now it's time for the 2017 P1 Fort Lauderdale AquaX Grand Prix. With 3 races to go and 75 points up for grabs, anything can happen. But the big news is our champ Mac has an injury. Can he still make it happen?
Going into this weekend, I have a fractured right fibia, which is going to put a little bit of a chink in my chain. And I mean, I still have a great points lead. We just have to finish 6 or better each moto. And I think it's possible. And we just want to get through the weekend safe and be able to walk off the track. Maybe limp a little bit, but I want to get through it and put the Monster Energy, Brauer Motorsports, Dean's team, FX on top of the podium.
The Francis name had a great Chicago. Eric winning the weekend and taking the fight to Mac. And his wife Sophie taking a race win and a 2nd place podium finish in the AM class. Now the real question is, can Eric do it again?
I feel really good. That win there really gave us some momentum coming into here, so it gives me a lot of confidence. We got a lot of momentum going into this race. Feel really good, really confident. I think we got what it takes to take the win.
If Francis has one bad race result this weekend, this guy will be right on his tail.
Feel great. Body feels really strong. The conditions, they could be a little rougher, but it looks a whole lot worse out there than it does here, and I like it a little rougher. And I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to hold the throttle to the bar for 30 minutes plus a lap and see what I come up with.
And both of our 4th and 5th place riders are in the mix with just 2 points between our Sea-Doo rider Erminio Ian-Tosca and our Yamaha rider Mike Clipper Klippenstein. Now they'll be watching each other, but they're both in with a good chance of catching Baldwin for that final podium position. I'm here with the voice of jet ski racing, Mikey Young. Mikey, how do you see this weekend playing out?
Well, it's going to be quite interesting, Deanna. Your points leader, Chris MacClugage, comes in today with a broken ankle. He was involved in an altercation in a closed course race a couple weeks ago, but he's going to have a lot of competition right there with him, too. He's got Bryan Baldwin and Eric Francis right there, still within striking distance. 4th, you got Ian-Tosca. 5th, you got the Clipper. So it's still anybody's championship here in Fort Lauderdale.
And here to talk about his partnership with AquaX is Ford Chairman Al Young.
I got a phone call one morning, and what we do here in South Florida is what I just told you off air, is experiential market, which is engagement. A different way to market non-traditional Ford customers. I've been doing it for a long time, and I like to think that we do it better than most down here, obviously, because the world CEO from Ford and his father called me on a Saturday morning. He's never called me to ask to work with a vendor. So the deal is, I said, I'll do it. But why go anywhere else but Fort Lauderdale Beach? And I'm just seeing nothing but opportunity. I was asked to do it, I'm glad, because I never would have seen it, but now I'm even happier. People don't know what they want until you show it to them. So let's show them the powerball in South Florida. Let's show it to them in Miami. I think it'll be a big hit.
The riders are headed out to race 1, and Mikey is headed to the commentary box. Now, Chris MacClugage takes us on a hot lap of this Fort Lauderdale race course.
On the first lap, the starting lap, we actually start from the north, we head south, we do a double left-hand turn into a straightaway. We don't go into the buoy that we would normally go on the closed course, so we just go straight all the way to the double left-hand turn again, then we start the real course. So we take a left, up to another buoy, take a right, hit the front straightaway on a double left, and then another right, and then back on a triple left-hand turn. On that final left-hand turn on the back, we enter the straightaway into the green buoy, and then back out to the red left, and then so on. So it's about, I think, 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes on the track, but it's a great track. We're in and out of the waves constantly, and it's just a really fun track to ride here.
After the break, it'll be race 1 of the weekend. Welcome back to the 2017 Ford P1 Fort Lauderdale AquaX Grand Prix.
Well, here we go. Chris MacClugage coming into the weekend injured with a broken fibula. Take a look at the course guide. The course will run from north to south, approximately 1.25 miles to 1.5 miles in length. And we're looking at 10 turns this weekend. So again, going back on board with the champ here, Chris MacClugage. Wind speed 17 miles per hour. Water temperature 23 degrees Celsius. It's P1 AquaX USA Pro Tour, race number 1 of 3 for the weekend. Getting ready to go. Here's the green flag comes out, 30 minutes plus a lap, and it is time to do battle here in Fort Lauderdale. It's the finals, ladies and gentlemen, and it's brought to you by Ford. Well, Chris MacClugage racing today again with a broken fibula. Looks like he gets a good jump with the rest of the pack. Nicolas Reyes also out there on a factory Yamaha Riva Racing ride. As we go on board with MacClugage, oh no, MacClugage loses his lanyard in turn number 1, and that is no way to start out the race for the Broward Motorsports pilot. A great shot of our course here as MacClugage gets it refired, but the whole pack is able to go by, and that means MacClugage has a lot of work because the points battle is not sewn up. Eric Francis, Bryan Baldwin still with an outside shot to take the victory here in Fort Lauderdale, as well as for the USA Pro Tour. As we take a look down, it's Klippenstein, Edworthy, and Reyes 1, 2, and 3 right now as we head into our second lap of the race. Going on board with Bryan Baldwin, and you can see Baldwin getting speeds over 70 miles per hour and a great shot of Fort Lauderdale Beach there in the background. Now, the man to watch out for who could play the spoiler here, I'm saying, is going to be Nicolas Reyes on boat number 217. And we'll see if Nick plays the spoiler out here this weekend. Again, Reyes coming into the race, I believe, in 10th place in the points overall. So Reyes, again, no chance for a championship, an outside shot for the podium, but would need to take all 3 victories here, as each victory gives the racer 25 points apiece. The next closest, second place, only gets 18 points. So to take that win really means a lot as we go on board with the Eagle, Eric Francis, who lives in nearby West Palm Beach, just on the north side of our race site here. Nicolas Reyes working his way through the chicanes, and Reyes has something to prove. His last victory came in St. Petersburg, where he jarred his back, and you can see it's Klippenstein, Reyes, and Canada's Jay Edworthy riding for JetX, and he is the top Sea-Doo competitor right now. Taking a look at where they're at on the course, nice little bobble out there. We was calling it the Crown all weekend. So Francis up there on the Crown right now, making a turn. Again, needs 25 points here. 18 would help him out, but really needs 25 points to cut that lead of MacClugage's down. Now, MacClugage is trying to work his way through the back of the pack, and that spells good news for guys like Eric Francis and Bryan Baldwin, who still have the opportunity to take the championship this weekend. Taking a look out, looks like we had a rider lose a lanyard out there as Chris MacClugage works his way back into this race here. Moving back up into the top 10, and again, Chris racing with a broken ankle out there. And we'll see if he has what it takes to work his way up into the top. Right now, it's Reyes, Klippenstein, and Edworthy 1, 2, and 3. As the course marshal's given a little direction to some of our back markers there, and you can see a great battle ensuing between Jay Edworthy and Eric Francis, and that is your battle for 3rd place position right now. Again, that's Edworthy on the yellow and black Sea-Doo trimmed in white, as he tries to stuff Eric Francis there in the corner, able to get the best of him, but Francis not going away, all over Edworthy like a bad rash. And you can see Francis has the better position as we get ready to come into the front straightaway. Francis going to go a little bit wide. He's going to show you a little bit of Yamaha power right there as he is able to goose that throttle and scored ahead of Edworthy. Francis right now speeds right around 60 mile per hour, which really isn't too bad. Again, the wind's at 17 mile per hour, making it a little bit rough for our competitors out there this weekend. Definitely not as rough as Chicago. Reyes, Klippenstein, and Francis, 1, 2, and 3. As we head toward the middle of this race right here, you can see exactly where our racers are at on our course locator, getting ready to come into our big chicane on the left-hand side of the track. Taking a look out, it is still the 911 Eric Francis doing all he can to try to put that Yamaha on top of the box this weekend. And Dave Bandis and company down at Riva Motorsports really helping out Eric Francis and Nicolas Reyes as we take a look at Reyes right here as he works his way around the tetrahedron, just about halfway into this one. And looks like we've got a rider down here along the front straightaway. And not quite sure. It looked like it possibly was 220 Blaine Spooner. We'll see if he can get back up, get refired. 911 and 502 battling it out, and those are second and third in the points right now. Francis 911, Baldwin 502. Again, Baldwin coming to us from Catawba, North Carolina, sponsored by Champion Cycle. As we take a look there on board with Eric Francis, taking a look out his rear view mirror there. Some great footage there from the GoPros this weekend. Francis comes along the front straightaway, heads over to the chicane, right-hand side of the track, but still a nice advantage right now for Nicolas Reyes. And it looks like Blaine Spooner, Spoondog, not going to be able to get back in this race as he went down, and it looks like he possibly has a mechanical problem as the yellow flags will bring him into the pits. Back on board with your race leader, Nicolas Reyes, and Reyes been racing for nearly 30 years, a former multi-time national and world champion. Originally from Marseille, France, and keeping that Yamaha hooked up and making his sponsors proud here in the crowd this weekend. So again, Nicolas Reyes, all the racing going on behind Nick right now as second and third been battling it out. We take a look at Klippenstein right there. Clipper's on borrowed property this weekend. He's actually on another Team Dean's boat. This boat here actually belongs to Aero Aswar, who is not racing with us this weekend. The 119, but Clipper had a little delamination problem, so he switched boats, and this one seems to be working out for him as Clipper's still with a top 3 ride right now. Back on board with Nicolas Reyes, and Reyes would really like to take this one home, bringing him a lot of confidence into the 2018 season. Now, taking a look at MacClugage. MacClugage has worked his way back through the pack, currently running in just about that 5th place position. As you see, he works his way around the crown and headed over to that chicane. Boy, there are a lot of turns here in this Aquacross track. 10 turns this weekend on the finals here of the Pro Aquacross Tour. As we take a look down, it's Reyes, Clipper, and MacClugage has worked his way all the way back up into 3rd place. But it looks like MacClugage has some company. We take a look at Clipper right there. Clipper currently in a solid 2nd place position. Now MacClugage in 3rd. I believe we got Francis in 4th. And MacClugage battling as we take a look just off to his right is the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein, and that is your battle for 2nd place. So MacClugage reeling in Klippenstein, and don't look now, but he's still got Francis and Baldwin right there behind him, and a great battle going on between those two as we take a look. Another battle here between MacClugage and Clipper, and they are close as they come up this turn here at the chicane. MacClugage able to go by. Oh, no! They make contact. MacClugage gets the worst of that. MacClugage in the water, swimming feverishly to get back to that boat. A tough break for the Mac Attack, who lost a lanyard there on the way to lap number 1. The marshal's coming out to assist. And let's take a look at the replay here, and boom! There we go. MacClugage gets spun around, and tough break for Mac, and good news for Clipper, though. Clipper able to stay on and stay on the throttle as MacClugage regroups, but not before Francis and Baldwin are able to get by. So now you have Francis in 3rd, Baldwin in 4th, MacClugage back up into that 5th place position. Still a lot of time to go here, though. He's got to keep his composure if he wants to take that overall win. Again, that could not have felt good. A broken fibula and trying to swim back to your boat. But, you know, this guy is a winner. He is a champion. He came in with a points lead, but you can tell this kid is up for the fight. No doubt about it. So we're looking at Reyes out in front right now. Eric Francis, the Eagle, in 2nd, and the Clipper. Mike Klippenstein out of Canada, currently running in the 3rd spot. Going on board with Francis. And Francis right now attaining speeds, again, over 70 mile per hour, turning in some of the fastest lap times that we've seen all weekend. Francis last time around a 2-minute, 37-second lap time. As we take a look there, and it's Baldwin and Francis still battling it out. What a battle. Now Baldwin able to get past Clipper. So Reyes, Francis, Baldwin, 1, 2, and 3 right now. Clipper slides back to 4th. That's MacClugage in 5th. So those are your top 5 here, as we are well over halfway through this one. Going back on board with Chris MacClugage, who is currently running in the 5th place position, but don't look now, but he has got boat number 119. That is the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. He's got him in his gun sights. And meanwhile, with all the battling going on in the back, that has given Reyes a lot of breathing room. Nicolas Reyes, boat number 217. Again, the fighter out of Marseille, France. On board with Bryan Baldwin. Baldwin still trying to maintain that top 5 position. Again, he knows it's consistency that builds championships. And Baldwin doing an amazing job in his campaign here in 2017 to make sure that he is up there on the podium tonight. Chris MacClugage still in that 5th place position, trying to hunt down Clipper. And there we go. MacClugage able to make the pass on Clipper. So Mac moves up into 4th place. And again, getting him some much-needed points to put that title out of reach for the rest of the competitors this weekend. A great shot, taking a look down the front straightaway here with beautiful Fort Lauderdale Beach in the back. Again, you're watching the P1 AquaX Championships presented by Ford. The white flag comes out, and one more lap to go for Nicolas Reyes, again, who has picked up some sponsorship down here in South Florida from Dave Bamdis and company over at Riva Racing, as well as his rental back home, Beach Shack Rentals. Taking a look out the back door of Eric Francis's boat. Francis still holding on to that 2nd place position right now, trying to catch up to your leader, but it might be too little too late, as MacClugage right now trying to hunt down that 3rd place position. He's still got Baldwin in front of him. And there he goes, past Baldwin. So MacClugage gets back up onto his boat after getting tossed, back up into 3rd place position. Reyes, Francis, Baldwin, 1, 2, and 3, as the checkered flag gets ready to fall here for the first time in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. The checkered flag down, and it is the fighter, Nicolas Reyes, originally from Marseille, France, now making his home in Lake Havasu City in that 1st place position. He'll be followed in by Eric Francis. And here comes MacClugage, so taking a look again, it's Nicolas Reyes, Eric Francis, Chris MacClugage, your top 3, followed by Baldwin, Klippenstein, and the top Sea-Doo competitor, Herminio Iantasca.
You know, I'm focused. I came here, you know, a few days before the race. We walk on my ski with Riva and stuff, and we make it pretty good handling, and, you know, right now I'm in great shape, you know, and, you know, hard work pays off, and my ski is great, so got a good start, and what I want to do different as compared to the other rounds is, you know, before people tell me, oh, you have 30 minutes, so you have time. And they take you know, I take my time, be cautious, but right now I'm just attacking from the get-go.
We've got 1 moto down and 2 more to go. Join us after the break for race 2. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale for the final round of the AquaX Championship. The riders are getting ready for race 2. Let's go over to Mike.
Hey, thank you, Deanna. We're getting staged here for race number 2. You're watching the P1 AquaX USA Pro Tour, presented by Ford here in Fort Lauderdale, as we go on board with Sea-Doo's Herminio Iantasca. Great shot there of the city as we take a look. The water conditions today, big chop. Currently 7-mile-per-hour winds. And it is 30 minutes plus a lap as the green flag gets ready to come down. Again, on board with Iantasca, and you can see, I believe that is Mike Klippenstein flanked just to his left. And Klippenstein is getting some great starts here this weekend on some borrowed property. Another great shot of all your race leaders coming away from the inside. It looks like the outlaw, Eric Lagopoulos, getting his best start of the season. As you can see, the red and white boat trimmed in black. Going on board here with Bryan Baldwin. Baldwin currently in about 4th, 5th place. You can see a couple riders there in front of him as they head into all that almighty turn number 1. And Chris MacClugage having a little better luck there than the first race, as he lost his lanyard in race number 1. Now, things to point out here, Chris needs to place better than 6th in this to clinch the overall, as we go back on board with Herminio Iantasca. And Iantasca getting pump washed there, as we have a great battle going on out to the front of the pack. And you can see through the goggles of MacClugage right there, the battle is happening between Clipper and Eric Lagopoulos. And we can see Clipper working on the outside right now of Lagopoulos, and Clipper able to go by. So Lagopoulos slides back into that 2nd place position as Clipper rounds the top left-hand side of the track. Baldwin right now attaining speeds of just around the mid-50s. But I'll tell you, folks, in this choppy water right here, mid-50s, these boats are hard to hold on to. It's Klippenstein, Lagopoulos, Francis, 1, 2, and 3 right now. And again, you got Klippenstein on the blue and white boat on the inside, and that was Lagopoulos just to his inside as they get ready to come down the front straightaway after the chicane, left-hand side of the track. And there we go. Francis trying to move up into that second place position and steal it away from Lagopoulos. Lagopoulos says nothing there as he slams the door shut. And your race leader is still the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. Back on board with Bryan Baldwin, and you can see it is nothing but jet spray out there. Tough conditions, not only physically but mentally for these Pro AquaCross riders this weekend, as this is the championships. A lot of head games going on and a lot of trash talking going on in the pits. Again, your battle for first place, bottom right-hand side of the track on beautiful Fort Lauderdale Beach here. And you can see a battle for third and fourth also going on right now. And that battle for third and fourth, I believe, is between Chris MacClugage and Eric Francis as we go back on board with Francis. And you can see Klippenstein back off to his left right behind him. So Francis advancing up into that first place position. Clipper in second and Reyes in third. As MacClugage slides out of the picture. Just sitting off the podium right now, but again needs a sixth place or better if he wants to take home the overall here in this second race. Bryan Baldwin currently again sitting in that fourth place position, watching it all happen in front of him right now. And Bryan watching his hopes of a national championship here slowly slipping away, with MacClugage having a great finish in race number 1. As we take a look on board here with Erminio Iantosca, easy to pick out on the black and gold Sea-Doo out there. Iantosca, one of those family racers, brings the whole family here with him every time that he comes out, and his dad, Erminio Iantosca Sr., spinning the wrenches. There we go. We got the fighter Nicolas Reyes, and it looks like Klippenstein's now working his way down the front straightaway. This happening all just in front of Chris MacClugage. As you can see, your leaders just out there to the front of him, and a great shot there of this amazing aquacross course here in Fort Lauderdale. Mother Nature has smiled down upon us, and we've only had a couple marine holds here today, but it looks like we're going to get through everything. As Bryan Baldwin still looking for a podium finish here overall for the race. He's got MacClugage just inside. So MacClugage and Baldwin dicing it out there, and I believe that is your battle for fourth place position right now on the track. As we take a look at Bryan Baldwin trying to keep the pump of that Yamaha hooked up. Again, Bryan on a Riva Racing factory ride here in 2017. Great shot of the chicane right there. A lot of racing action happening right there around that chicane. As we go back to your leader, to the front of the pack, Eric Francis doing exactly what he needs to do to get that 25 points here in race number 2. But Chris MacClugage could take home the top spot here if he stays where he's at. Once again, we've got about just over 12 minutes left to go, with Francis out in front, Reyes in second, MacClugage in third. The top 3 all on Yamahas as we take a look at Sea-Doo's Erminio Iantosca, and you can just get a feel for how rough it is out there, what these guys are going through. You know, getting speeds just over 70 miles per hour, but again, the level of their competence and confidence out here on this ever-changing track is really something else. And you can see a great battle there going on between Clipper and Iantosca. Iantosca trying to work an inside line, and he's going to goose that throttle. This is your battle for 5th place, ladies and gentlemen. That's Clipper on the inside, Iantosca on the outside, and Clipper trying not to give it away as they get ready to head up to the crown of the course. Top side of the track, that is where you'll find your action. And again, this is your battle for 5th place. Clipper still holding on to that battle for 5th place right now, but the Clipper with a bad back, again, coming in a little bit sore today, and you can see that he's worked his way backwards here. Obviously got some great equipment there on that Dean's Team Yamaha, but Iantosca got a challenge here for that 5th place position, and Iantosca got some great mechanics working for him as well down there at Riva Motorsports. As Iantosca able to get by, and he is in a solid 5th place. And looks like somebody's coming in on the gaff. Not the way that you want to come in. And that's boat number 110, the Slugger, Troy Snyder, out of Bradenton, Florida, riding for Snyder Built Construction, and a tough row to hoe for him. As we go back on board with your race leader, Eric Francis, another great shot there of Fort Lauderdale Beach. Francis right now working his way through some lap traffic, as he's got Reyes and MacClugage just behind him. Trying to work on that lead, though, so he has a little bit more comfort zone. Getting ready to come down the front straightaway. Again, your race leader is Eric Francis. Francis Coming through that start-finish line, through the chicane over here, right-hand side of the track, south side as we view it. And it looks like we've got another rider going down, and that is Anthony Reddick. A tough break there for another Sea-Doo pilot, boat number 153, Reddick A-Train, coming in a very good season here in his rookie year. As we go back on board here with Chris MacClugage, and he knows what he needs to do, and he's getting it done here in Fort Lauderdale. Great shot there, MacClugage. And again, you can see the pounding that these guys are taking out there. 30 minutes plus a lap is a long time. It's really a battle of attrition. As we take a look again at your race leader, Eric Francis, as well as second place, Nicolas Reyes. And Reyes has really had a good ride out here this weekend, taking a first place in that first race, currently sitting in second now and looking for that top spot on the box for the overall weekend. And MacClugage looking to clinch the entire series here with a 6th or better finish. As we take a look again, it's Francis, Reyes, and MacClugage. And a great battle here. I believe this is your battle for second place between Reyes and MacClugage as they work the south side of the track. As we take a look there at Nicolas Reyes, number 217. And him and MacClugage have had some epic battles over the last 30 years, whether it be out here this weekend in Fort Lauderdale or out at the World Championships in Lake Havasu. Eric Francis doing what he needs to do to get it done. 25 much needed points right here. Still wants to stay up on the box tonight for the overall championships. And I'm sure that he would like to take a race win here as well, giving him a lot of confidence. So we've got just 15 seconds plus a lap, and you can see exactly where your race leader is out on the track as he gets ready to come through the chicane here momentarily, and he'll get the white flag signifying to him one more lap to go. Back on board with the Mac Attack, Chris MacClugage, and MacClugage again riding a stellar race out there. Folks, it's got to be hard to ride out there, not only in these conditions, but with a broken ankle. Chris went swimming in the first race, so you know that had to take a little bit out of him, and I think that just speaks volumes on his training. So it's still Francis, Reyes, MacClugage, 1, 2, and 3 as the white flag gets ready to fly here for race number 2 of the P1 AquaX Pro Championships presented by Ford. Through the chicane, and here he comes down that front straightaway. Nicolas Reyes, the white flag comes out for the fighter. The fighter still in that second place position though. Remember, you still have Francis up in front. Fighter taking a win in race number 1, but there is your race leader, Francis, who has got a decent sized lead on the rest of the pack. And again, Eric coming into today, he knew that he had the opportunity to possibly take an overall championship of MacClugage with a stellar finish there in race number 1, and looking for another great finish here in race number 2. Could clinch the overall. We'll see if things stay as they are here on this last lap. Taking a look at Reyes. Again, Reyes taking a win. Race number 1, Reyes took a win earlier this season in St. Petersburg. And again, this could really be a big confidence booster for 2018 after him taking 5 years off and coming back out this season. Back on board with Francis on the final lap. And it looks like Francis getting ready to come down that front straightaway here momentarily. The Eagle looking to land right here in Fort Lauderdale. One last time through the chicane, north side of the track, getting ready to drop into that front straightaway. And here comes Francis, a handful of throttle. And I can tell this kid is super stoked as the arm pump comes up in the air. The checkered flag is out, and Francis will take the win here in race number 2. Still some battling going on here behind Francis, as we see second and third place now coming through our start-finish line, and that is going to be Nicolas Reyes and Chris MacClugage, as Reyes celebrating the second place finish right there. Edworthy congratulating the champ there of race number 2. That is Eric Francis, and you can see somebody's doing donuts out there. And who is that? That is Chris MacClugage, and the Mac Attack knows that he has just sewn up another AquaX title 2 times in a row now for the Mac Attack. Taking a look at this individual race, we got Eric Francis up in front, Reyes in second, Mac in third, Ian Tosca in fourth, Baldwin in fifth, and Clipper in sixth.
I'd have to say it's one of my best motos I put out all year. I felt faster, I felt all year, felt in control, and felt like I had, you know, the race in my hands since the beginning. So I was really pleased with that. Couldn't ask to end the season on a better note.
So 2 races down and 1 more to go. Join us after the break for day 2. welcome back for day 2 of the 2017 Ford P1 Fort Lauderdale AquaX Grand Prix. So it's not just our pros on the water this weekend. We also have the final round of the National Championship for our amateur enduros.
Well, we have a full field of amateurs here in Fort Lauderdale, and they've been battling it out since early this April. Enrique Chia running top 3 along with Carlito Devallier in second. Cody Tetreault was in first place coming into this weekend. But playing the spoiler this weekend would be boat number 60, David Gorey, out there on the blue Yamaha, trimmed in bright yellow. Easy to pick out for all of us here. And Gorey would take a win in that first race, try to carry over some momentum. Oh, and Dave Davidson gets an up-close and personal encounter with a buoy right there, and that's not how they teach him to race in Canada. Carlito Devallier, rider on boat number 30, was in second place coming into the weekend, but went the wrong way on the track, and that would give a victory to Cody Tetreault from Tetreault Land Development. As we got ready to go with race number 3, it was more of the same. In race number 1, Dave Gorey would again take the win as the checkered flag would fly here in Fort Lauderdale Beach. But your champion would be boat number 710, riding for Broward Motorsports, Cody Tetreault. Now for the weekend, it was David Gorey taking the top spot, Tetreault in second, Carlito Devallier in third, Yanel Fiallo in fourth, Dave Davidson in fifth, and Jason Lester in sixth. And you can see it's nothing but celebrating there on the podium. Dave Gorey, the first time that he has stood atop an AquaX podium here this season, and after missing 2 races, will still end up 4th overall for the series. And as we take a look at the series overall, Cody Tetreault was in first, Carlito Devallier in second, Enrique Chia in third, Gorey in fourth, Sophie Francis in fifth, and Derek Anderson rounds out your top 6.
Honestly, I just try to stay consistent. I'm always looking at the end game rather than right there and then. I've had great mentors, my teammates, Tommy Allswang, Daniel Steele, really getting me pumped, getting me ready for this season. A lot of training, a lot of working out, a lot of time on the boat. It's been a mixture of everything that's really built this season to come down to what it is.
And now it's time for the last race of the final round of the season.
That's right, Deanna. Still a lot on the line, though. Not only do you have today's overall event, but you've got the series overall event, and people are still qualifying to go to the World Championships in the Keys. As the green flag flies one last time, we'll get it dropped, and we'll be off and away 30 minutes plus a lap here. Race number 3 for your Pro AquaX Enduro, presented by Ford. And once again, a lot of racers coming out to brave the conditions down here in Fort Lauderdale. Boat number 502 on board with him. That is Bryan Baldwin coming all the way down from North Carolina. And look on the inside. That appears to be boat number 46, but there was a switch there. Boat number 110, Troy Snyder, who came off last race, switched with Chris MacClugage because MacClugage did not need to race this race because he's already clinched the overall championship. So Snyder enjoying what may have been a hole shot out there as we go back on board with Bryan Baldwin, and you can see nothing but pump wash in front of him. Conditions a lot better than in the first 2 races here, as the wind has died down to about 7 miles per hour, and you can see definitely not as much surf as there was the first 2 races. Francis all the way up to 71 miles per hour, and Francis clocking in some of the fastest lap times that we've seen here on this AquaX track all weekend. And a great shot overhead there as we take a look at our race leaders, and a big battle going on there between Baldwin, and it looked like boat number 217. That is the fighter, Nicolas Reyes. Reyes flanked just to his right. And these two, no strangers to battling it out as they come bond rail to bond rail. And it looks like Reyes getting the better of that exchange as he's also able to get past Jay Edworthy on the C477 right now. So you got Klippenstein out in front, Reyes running in second, Jay Edworthy out of Canada racing for Jet X, and Ryan Dolly back there in the 3rd place position. So Bryan Baldwin, again, you can see some of the speeds, and you can see exactly where he's located at the crown of the course right there. And we've seen a lot of passing going on around that crown today. We'll see if Baldwin can make it work to his favor. As we go back to Jay Edworthy, who currently sits in that 3rd place position. Great shot of the corner here, south side of the track. And Edworthy still leading Baldwin for that 3rd place position. Taking a look out, we've got your race leader, the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. And Clifford really doing a great job out here on this borrowed property. You'd think when you jumped on somebody else's horse that it wouldn't ride as good, but the Clifford definitely make it work for him. Rhea still in second. Edworthy still in third out of Canada. As we take a look at your race leader, nothing but clean water in front of him. And again, the conditions have really laid down the lap times about 20 seconds faster than in races number 1 and 2 right now. And you can see the pressure being put on by Baldwin right now. Edworthy and Baldwin going at it. And you can see they're not going at it at 20 mile per hour. They're going at it at 70 mile per hour. Anything could happen here in the Atlantic Ocean with these two sharks loose. So again, Bryan Baldwin able to steal the position away from Jay Edworthy. So that's going to put Baldwin in a solid 3rd place position. And you can see right exactly where he's at. He comes up to that chicane on the north side of the track. We've got Klippenstein, Reyes, and Baldwin 1, 2, and 3. And just over 24 minutes plus a lap to go here in the final race of the P1 AquaX regular season. Again, don't forget we will be invading Key West on December 9th and 10th, and we invite everybody to come down and enjoy the races with us. Eric Francis taking a look out his rear view mirror, and Francis not with the best of starts right now, trying to work his way through the pack as we take a look once again at the fighter Nicolas Reyes, and now back to your race leader, the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein. Again, Klippenstein on boat number 119, one of the Dean's team boats, and Clipper picking up sponsorship this year from Riva Racing. Great overhead shot here of this 1.25 mile track in South Fort Lauderdale. And special thanks to all those who have rolled out that red carpet for us down here in Fort Lauderdale. Taking a look there, you can see your top 4 riders all along the back straightaway and going on board with the fighter, Nicolas Reyes. Reyes has really done an amazing job. First 2 races, he's got a win and he's got a 2nd place. And we'll see if he can stay consistent here and try to put himself on top of the box. Bryan Baldwin, if he has anything to say about it, will steal that position away. Again, Baldwin out of Catawba, North Carolina, sponsored by Riva Racing and Champion Cycle. Battle for your top 3 up there. Clipper still out in front. Reyes in 2nd, Baldwin in 3rd. And Edworthy has slid back a little bit, currently sitting in the 4th spot in the top Sea-Doo in race number 3 so far. As they head down to the bottom left-hand side of the track, we are just under 12 minutes left to go. And that is still a lot of time here in Pro AquaX. You're watching the 300 class. That means that these boats out here are all 300 horsepower. As we take a look at Francis Nicolas Reyes. Reyes making the move to Lake Havasu City just about 8 or 9 years ago, but has spent the last 5 years working on his business. And there looks like there's some words there between Johnny Smith on the Bluetooth and Nicolas Reyes. It looked like Reyes had slowed down and bumped into him. And Johnny Smith obviously not happy as your leaders work their way around the crowd. And again, we talked about this is where a lot of passing is going on. And you can see right there, Baldwin is ready to take advantage of Nicolas Reyes. Only about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds in between the battle for 2nd place right there. And it looks like some of the back markers starting to slow down the fighter, Nicolas Reyes. You know, and you got to wonder, after taking 5 years off, has he done all the training that he needed to be out in front like this? Eric Francis, again, currently 2nd in the points overall coming into the day. Looks like Francis has got a problem. Looks like there could be a technical issue. I believe he lost his lanyard there. And we'll see if he can get refired and join the race once again. And again, your battle for 2nd. Look at this. Baldwin on the inside, Reyes on the outside. Baldwin will have position as they come into that turn. And it looks like Baldwin going to steal a position away from Reyes. So now Bryan Baldwin moves into 2nd. Still got Clipper out in front. Reyes back there in the 3rd spot. So Baldwin doing what he needs to do to try to make sure that he gets back up onto the box. And Eric Francis looks like he's got the boat refired, but it doesn't sound like he's running on all cylinders. He might be down a cylinder, so we'll see if he can just keep it out there in order to maintain some points here for this final race of the season. Coming down on 7.5 minutes plus a lap to go. It is still Baldwin out in front, Klippenstein in 2nd, and Nicolas Reyes rounding out your top 3. As we come into the latter stages here, take a look down the front straightaway. And again, that is Bryan Baldwin. And there is the Clipper, Mike Klippenstein, currently sitting in 2nd place. Clipper riding very smooth out there on that Broward Motorsports Yamaha. And again, taking a look at Baldwin. Baldwin with a pole in the water. And your leader doing everything that he can to find some clean water. Still got a lot of time left on the clock. And look at this, Arminio Iantosca moving up the pack. Ian Tosca looks like he is moving up into that third place position as Nicolas Reyes, the fighter, 217, looks like he might have a problem out there on the water. And you can see yellow flags are out as we go back, and that is Nicolas Reyes, the fighter. Man, what a tough break for the Lake Havasu City resident. And you can see the seat coming off. So now it's Baldwin, Klippenstein, and Ian Tosca running 1, 2, and 3. And there has been amazing lead changes here. What a great race for the final race of the season. And Chris MacClugage able to sit this one out and view it from the box. And as we see Bryan Baldwin come through the start-finish line, he was able to get around Clipper on that last lap. So Bryan Baldwin moves into the lead. And boy, I tell you, that guy's got the need for speed, and he's showing it here this weekend. Bryan Baldwin running very consistently here in our 3 races in Fort Lauderdale. Back out to Mike Klippenstein. Klippenstein sliding back down to second, but this guy's a beast, man. This guy's been doing a lot of great training. He rides endurance races all over the world, always getting a top finish, and not too shabby for a 49-year-old man. As we take a look out, it is Baldwin, followed by Klippenstein and Ian Tosca. Ian Tosca got the Riva Sea-Doo up there into that third place position. And we're counting it down here, just about 2 seconds, 1 second plus a lap to go when they come back by your start finish line. And you can see that's almost a lap and 3/4 by taking a look here at our course locator provided by our Aquacross team. Always doing a great job there in the graphics department. So once again, taking a look at your race leader, Bryan Baldwin, and this kid has got to be charged up. Getting ready to head into that chicane north side of the track, back on board with Francis, and Francis got it running back up again. But again, I don't think he's running on all cylinders. Not running the pace that he was running in the first 2 races, nor is he running the pace like he was at the beginning of this one. Baldwin back through our start-finish line, and that means the white flag will come out. So less than a lap to go for Bryan Baldwin. And Baldwin, by the way, looked like he had switched boats before he came out here for the 3rd race. Now, according to race director Lisa Barsby, when you switch boats, if you take a position, you automatically get docked to position. So even if Baldwin is in 1st, he will still come in 3rd overall. Little FYI for everybody out there. Eric Francis back on board with him as Baldwin going to put it in cruise control here and try to cruise into a victory, which would give him a 3rd overall for this race right here. And Baldwin, Klippenstein, and Ian Tosca, that's the way they stack up 1 through 3. And again, not too much time left to go. Francis riding very steady there, right around the 5th place position as we go back on board with Bryan Baldwin, and a great shot of the beach here in Fort Lauderdale. And taking a look overhead for our finish line, and you can see our checkered buoy right over there just on the right-hand side as Baldwin comes around the tetrahedron. He's got 1 more chicane to go before this deal is in the record books. So Baldwin coming up. He'll hit our Ford Marshmallow buoy out there, get ready to come into the front straightaway. And Bryan Baldwin from North Carolina has come down south of the Mason-Dixon line, and it looks like he's going to be taking home some hardware. Congratulations to Bryan Baldwin taking the top spot. However, remember, he will be deducted 2 positions. So that gives Clipper the overall. Arminio Ian Tosca in 2nd, Baldwin in 3rd, Blaine Spooner in 4th, Francis in 5th, and Daniel Steele rounds out your top 6.
You know, it's pretty rough conditions there this weekend. Finally actually felt healthy for the first time this year. The Dean's team, 212 119 boat was flying out there. The guys did a really good job at the shop. Broward Motorsports, Team Dean, great job on the weekend for sure.
Well, for the Fort Lauderdale event, it was Eric Francis getting on top of the box, followed by Mike Klippenstein in 2nd, Reyes in 3rd, Ian Tosca, Baldwin, and MacClugage rounding out your top 6.
It's not the way we want to do it. We didn't come away with the overall for the year, but we took the win for the day, and I can't be much happier than that. I mean, overall, it's been a great season.
Let's take a look at the overall points championship here for Aquacross. It was MacClugage in front, Francis in 2nd, Baldwin, Klippenstein, Ian Tosca, and Saxon rounding out your top 6. Let's go down and talk to the champ.
You know, I have great equipment. I'm on Yamahas, but those guys are on Yamahas. I think when the going gets tough, I know how to make it happen. And I think I know I have a great group of people behind me, from my nephew Mitchell to everybody in between. It's just a great group of people, and I'm really thankful. And I think just having the family support here too at the last race, it just helps you dig down and really, you know, come out and show what a true champion is.
So another great weekend of P1 AquaX racing here in Fort Lauderdale. Francis takes the weekend, but a great job by injured MacClugage, who secures his position as the reigning national champion for 2017. That's it for this season, but we'll see you next year.